So I'm just driving into Toowoomba. It's about an hour and a half inland from Brisbane. There's over 100,000 people living here. I want to find out just how many of them think that porn is destroying their town and how many just want the city to butt out and leave them alone with their laptops. In October, more than 200 men gathered outside Toowoomba City Hall to swear off porn for good.
I commit that I won't view porn and I will help create a city free of porn.
I commit that I won't view porn and I will help create a city free from porn.
To me, it kind of sounds like the town in Footloose.
This obscene rock and roll music with its gospel of easy sexuality.
But in the age of the internet, how on earth does a town stop porn?
It's like pledging allegiance to the Bible. You just say it, doesn't mean you're going to do it.
And in God's name, why? Excuse me, hi. I'm from SBS. I'm doing a story about porn. Do you have time to talk to me at all?
Oh, not really.
No?
SBS is a porn show, isn't it?
No, not our porn.
Oh.
Did you hear that the mayor and the church leaders are asking people not to watch porn? What do you think about it?
I definitely agree with it.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I pay data and I don't know what else to use that data on, to be honest.
People who don't get sex very often should be able to enjoy themselves.
Have you watched porn before?
No.
No. Kept away from it your whole life?
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Thanks.
There's like people who watch it and people who lie.
People can watch porn and still function in society and be nice people.
You know, you've got strip joints and brothels in the town and they want people to...
Where's the brothel?
Sorry? Not too many people I've met so far believe that porn is ruining the city. So just who is advocating for this anti-porn crusade? Mr. Mayor.
Hi Laura, welcome to Toowoomba.
Oh, thank you. So tell me a little bit about Toowoomba.
Well, I think Toowoomba's the centre of the universe.
Oh. Mayor Paul Antonio is just one of the local leaders to throw his weight behind this bold ambition. Was there actually a noticeably big porn problem in the town? Was the internet slowing down, people running out of tissues in the general store? What was happening?
Well, I think there is a problem everywhere right across Australia. This is not about Toowoomba. Neither is it about banning pornography, but somebody had to have the courage to step up to the mark and suggest it's not right. Over 80% of pornography includes violence.
If it's more about stopping young people from forming bad attitudes to sex, is abstinence from porn really the answer?
Well, I think if they understand the implications of watching porn, if they understand the dangers of addiction to pornography, I think they can make their own judgment then.
What if I told you that I'm a young woman, I watch porn, do you think that what I do is wrong?
That's your choice. This is about human dignity. This is about, I think, some of the things you see on pornography, I don't know what you watch, but some of the things that I've just casually glanced at are not necessarily the way I would expect a good relationship would head.
You say you casually glance at. Do you watch porn?
No, I don't, but I have heard a lot about it.
According to the mayor, I could be at risk of porn addiction. I'm keen to meet someone with first-hand experience of this.
I was 12. I was just actually riding a horse in the countryside and saw a magazine on the side of the road and I picked it up and took it home, and that kind of started a 17-year addiction. Porn always left me feeling a bit dirty. A lot of that had to do, I guess, with my Christian upbringing and ethics, and with that came a lot of shame. We would form accountability groups with guys my age, going, how are you going with it? Are you beating it? Is it working? Oh yeah, I did pretty well this week. And then next week it'd be like, oh no, I looked at it 3 times and yeah, I'm back in a rut again. Got married and sure enough it came out that I was still struggling with it, and from there that started just a loss of intimacy between us because the trust had been broken. She decided that she wanted out of the relationship and I didn't blame her. I knew I was a damaged person, I was damaging other people. I guess that's really the point in my life where I really determined to beat this thing once and for all.
It seems like this campaign is solely focused on the porn habits of men. But what about the women? Surely I'm not the only woman in this town who watches porn.
Almost every mum that I have spoken to watches porn in some description. There's, a title that we use, watching mummy porn.
This local mum has a 9-year-old son and she doesn't want to be identified.
I would like my son to grow up thinking that he can talk to me and know it's okay to explore his body, explore porn. I don't want him to ever feel embarrassed about what he does. With my partners in the past, we used to watch it just for something different. I've never seen anyone become violent after watching it, and certainly never took any love out of any relationship that I've been in.
But not everyone agrees with that.
I'm a firm believer that porn kills love, and whilst I believe the Bible and God is very clear about his stance on that, I believe this issue is much larger than just Christian or religion.
Young people these days are very porn crazy. Yes, you go to sleep with someone and they have a very porn-orientated view of what sex should be like.
Locals tell me there's at least 140 different churches in Toowoomba, but the porn debate hasn't divided the city purely down religious lines. I meet Christians who are cool with porn.
I don't like being told what to do.
And non-believers who aren't. However, the main organisation behind the campaign is a Christian group called City Women. We're about to meet one young person who's not so much worried about the effects of porn on the town and more concerned about the influence of the church.
My name is Thomas Coyne. I'm 16 years old. I identify as bisexual. It's been very difficult for me to be able to feel proud and comfortable in the city. When I came out, Mum was petrified that I was going to get attacked. And I've had friends of the family, not disown, but certainly step back.
What did you think about the porn crackdown when you heard about it?
It was a mixture between laughing, shame, and a little bit of anger, to be honest. It's typical of sort of the church in the city of trying to force people to live according to their beliefs, whether it's gay marriage, porn or abortion.
Do you and your mates talk about porn?
Occasionally. Joking about beads and places they can go. Yeah, I learned, and this is kind of sad, everything I know about sex from porn.
Do you feel like that was helpful for a young queer guy having porn there?
Yes and no. Yes, because it sort of opened my eyes to, that happens, and that I'm not the only person in the world that's attracted to guys that is a guy. But it also hurt. I learned to feel ashamed because I never talked about it. And I think it's important to talk about what's normal and what's not. It does hurt people to feel ashamed for doing something which, let's be honest, most of us do.
Do you think that asking people to abstain from porn is the right way to go?
Education would work better. You're never going to get people to stop watching porn. You're just not.
I want to take some of these concerns to one of the religious leaders behind the campaign.
The sexuality that I think is most beautiful and most right is a pure attraction between a husband and a wife. And so for me, all of my sexual needs are met by my wife.
Sam Jackson is a pastor at a local Baptist church. Are you in any way worried that a crackdown on porn will shame people about exploring their sexuality in some way?
I believe that sexuality is good. I believe that sex is a good thing. I believe when it's done properly, it is a beautiful thing.
What about a young gay person in town who doesn't know many other gay people? Is pornography necessarily a harmful thing for them?
Oh, look, you're starting to talk outside of my understanding, what I would think. But again, I would say, if you need external help to be aroused, I think something's wrong.
What if I told you that as a young woman myself, I've watched porn, I stay away from anything that's violent or degrading, and I actually find it empowering. Do you think that I should stop what I'm doing?
I can't answer that question. I would want to have a conversation. I'm not interested in making blanket statements for everyone. I'm not interested in making generalisations.
Whilst Pastor Sam is intent on not judging me for my habits, it's clear he's done a lot of reading about the harmful effects of porn.
There's research that shows people with pornography addiction are less productive in the workplace, has a similar thing in your brain that cocaine has, a strong link between pornography addiction and domestic violence. 88% of pornography is violent, aggressive, demeaning of women, rape fantasy.
I don't know what porn they're watching in Toowoomba, but some of this stuff doesn't really ring true for me. Just where are they getting these statistics? As it turns out, most signs lead back to an American-based anti-porn organisation, Fight the New Drug. The organisation is founded by Mormons, and their head researcher is a well-known anti-same-sex marriage crusader.
It's quite easy to grab out a very small statistic from a study, and if you say it often enough, people will believe you.
I've decided to fact-check this research with Karen, a sexologist and sex education expert.
A lot of people in Toowoomba are using the statistic that 88% of porn depicts violence against women. Is this a real statistic?
So the 88% is an accurate measure. However, when you unpack that statistic and look at what was classified as physical aggression, we do see things like smacks on the bottom and hair pulling.
What are some common misconceptions about the effects of porn that you've heard?
People drawing quite clear links between watching porn and specific behaviours. We can never look at porn in isolation. There just isn't the evidence there to support ideas around porn addiction and sex addiction. So what we see happening really is that a lot of people self-identify with sex addiction, and that really occurs when the person suffers an internal conflict between their sexual behaviours and the shame that they experience around that.
Karen isn't exactly a pro-porn activist. In fact, she runs workshops for young people about the negative messages that porn can send.
And we're going to do an activity that is really about the real world versus the porn world. What we see that porn does is it really portrays less progressive gender roles. We know from the evidence that those kind of gender roles do support violence against women.
A lot of the penetration is often domineering.
When we look at porn, we do see this very traditional script of it's kiss, boob, clothes, sex, done.
Women are things that you put your dick in. It's basically how it is, unfortunately.
How did you feel when you first heard about the City Free from Porn campaign asking everyone in the city to abstain from porn altogether?
Abstinence doesn't work. I'm concerned that it doesn't open it up for conversation. It doesn't allow people to discuss their own porn use or to talk about the things that they see in porn.
It also depends on how you find pleasure yourself.
Karen tells me that sex education isn't even compulsory in Queensland schools, let alone porn ed.
The research shows the more that you talk to young people about sex, the more likely they are to negotiate healthy relationships.
I wonder how different Thomas or Dave's experiences would have been if they'd just been able to have open discussions like this. Before I leave town, I go back to Dave's. Apparently he has something to give me. Maybe his stash of old magazines.
Due to the stuff I was seeing on SBS,
I did pull my aerial out of the TV.
So if you could take it off my hands, I'd be much obliged.
What were you seeing on SBS?
We don't need to go there.
I think I have an idea. I apologise on behalf of SBS.
Apology accepted.
I have to admit, when I first heard about the town that's trying to stop porn, I thought it was pretty backward, that it's a private issue and that we should all just be left to wank as we wish. But it's clear that keeping these things private is pretty damaging for people on both sides of this debate. I mean, at least people in Toowoomba are talking about this now, discussing anal beads, mummy porn, the sex lives of their religious leaders. I definitely think we need to talk more about the porn that we're all watching. But to tell people to stop watching porn entirely, I think it's just going to sweep things further under the rug.